Hello and welcome to the Lit-Based Essay Overview. As we discussed at the beginning of this unit, you are writing a lit-based essay on one of the 4 short stories that we've read as a part of this unit. We've discussed a lot about them, we've written a lot about them, now is the time to get down and dirty with a lit-based essay. Now, I know some of you are dreading this, others are looking forward to it because as some of you have told me, you just don't have anything left to give of your personal self in a personal narrative essay. So for those of you who feel that way, the lit-based essay may be a bit easier because you're writing about someone else. Either way, I find that students have some misconceptions about the lit-based essay and what it actually is and can and should be for you. So typically with a lit-based essay, I don't know about you, but I find that I'm trying to organize my ideas. And some students, instead of thinking of their own ideas, they think, well, they just need a little help. So they go to this trusty website called SparkNotes and they look up the ideas. And there's some analysis there. I'm telling you that you do not need it because you have all of the analysis that you need. You've already done a lot of work on these short stories and you've developed your own thoughts, your own analysis of what these stories are, what they're saying about people in general, how their author is using writer's craft to convey the theme of the story, how the character is developed. So trust yourselves. I'm asking you to do that and really think about what you bring to the story. What is your perspective? So when we talk about analysis, I thought it would be helpful to look at the official English dictionary's definition of it. And if we looked at this first definition, it says it's a detailed examination or study of something so as to determine its nature, structure, or essential features. It's also as a result of this process, a detailed examination or report, a particular interpretation or formulation of the essential features of something. So there's 2 things at work here. There is certainly the piece that you are looking for and the text that you are working with, but you come into play too because you are formulating your ideas, you're formulating your interpretation. And this is what I think is so cool about the lit-based essay, is that it's your ideas. Yes, you're basing them on the text, but you each bring something unique and interesting to each piece, and this is your chance to share it. So let's talk about the types of lit-based essays. There are 2 general types of lit-based essays, 2 patterns of development. The first is a single line of inquiry, and this is the examination that follows a line of inquiry, a line of thinking, a line of thought as it moves from beginning to a middle to an end. The second type of lit-based essay is the tension-based lit essay. And this is where the examination is really centered on the forces that push and pull on a line of inquiry before it ends in a particular place. The single line of inquiry essay, this is where you examine the shift in an idea or in a character as it relates to a purpose in the text. Such an idea could be a theme, symbol, the character change, or allusions, as we've discussed in some of these texts. So you would follow that idea, that theme, that symbol, the allusions from the beginning, middle, and end of a text. So if you were to write a single line of inquiry type essay on one of these short stories, one of the potential questions you could address is, how does Arnold Friend cause an internal change in Connie? So to follow this single line of inquiry, you'd examine who Connie is at the beginning, and just as she opens that door and begins to interact with Arnold Friend. Then how does Connie begin to change, and what is that significant moment of catalyst for change as she begins to develop into this new person? And who is she at the end as a result of that encounter? What has this catalyst for change resulted in at the end? So you're following the character change of Connie from beginning, middle to end. In the second type of essay, the tension-based pattern of development essay, you're really thinking of this as a tug of war, that there's different forces on a character. And if we're looking at Connie, we're thinking of the different forces that are causing her to change and what that results in. She has to live up to her mother and society's expectations. That's one force pulling on her. Another force pulling on her is the responsibility she feels to herself. But ultimately, without a clear idea of an authentic self, she gets taken in by Arnold's friend. So those two forces are pulling on her, and she's left without an idea of who she is, and she's taken in by Arnold. The tension-based essay generally follows this pattern. The tension is introduced in the beginning with the initial pull and resistance. The tension grows stronger with more compelling pull and response. And then finally, the final pull is exerted. The character or idea surrenders, the outcome is achieved. Whichever essay you choose to follow, you need to plan the essay by identifying critical moments, those milestones, touchstones in the text, which lead from the beginning of the story to the conclusion. You should be using everything that we've done in class so far. You've done a lot of work, so put it to good use. What are the annotations that you have? What have you noticed about character change? What have you written about theme already? What have we discussed? Use all of your materials to look at what you need to identify these moments. Then you want to arrange those milestones in order, and this will show the causality of each event on the next event. How is this causing a change? And then finally, organizing those milestones into a beginning, middle, and end. You'll group them. You could also think of a beginning, early middle, late middle, and then an end. This essay generally is a 5-paragraph essay, but with all good writing, you take as many paragraphs as you need to say what you need to say. So I'm not constricting you to the 5 paragraphs, but you can use that as a general rule of thumb. We are going to get into thesis statements next, so you need to go in and creating your thesis statement with a clear understanding of the 2 types of essays. Be sure that you have your notes and that you have any questions about these different types of essays written down so we can address them in class.